It was supposed to be a normal evening just like any other. I had been married for 3 years, and in those 3 years my wife and I built what I thought was an unshakable bond. We were happy, so happy. Or at least, that's what I believed until the day everything unraveled. We had met in college, two souls searching for meaning and finding each other instead. She was the kind of person who lit up a room when she walked in, her laughter infectious and her smile radiant. We shared so much. Late-night conversations about our dreams, spontaneous road trips, and even cooking disasters that ended with us laughing over takeout. When we got married, it felt like destiny. I never imagined anything could break us apart. But life has a way of surprising you, doesn't it? The first sign came one evening after work. My wife seemed distant, almost preoccupied. She spent more time on her phone than usual, scrolling through messages with a look of concentration that made me wonder if something was wrong. First, I dismissed it. Maybe she was stressed from work or dealing with family issues. But as the days turned into weeks, the pattern persisted. There were little things, the way she'd flinch whenever I reached for her phone, how she avoided eye contact during certain conversations, and the fact that she started coming home later than usual without explanation. One night, after another argument where she brushed off my concerns, I decided to confront her directly. "What's going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm despite the storm brewing inside me. "You've been acting different lately." She hesitated before responding, her tone defensive. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, avoiding my gaze. "Maybe you're just imagining things." Her dismissal only fueled my suspicion. If there was nothing wrong, why wouldn't she meet my eyes? Why did she seem so eager to change the subject every time I brought it up? Something wasn't right and I needed answers. A few days later, while she was taking a shower, I found myself staring at her phone, which lay carelessly on the counter. Against my better judgment, I unlocked it and opened her messaging app. That's when I saw it, a text from someone named Pastor John. My heart sank. Thinking it might have been an emergency, I opened the conversation. What I read nearly stopped my heart altogether. "Good night, my love," the message read. For a moment I froze, unsure if I'd misread it. Surely this had to be some kind of mistake, a typo perhaps. But then I scrolled further back, searching for context. That's when I realized she had deleted all previous messages between them. If their relationship was innocent, why would she erase everything? Doubt crept in, gnawing at me until I couldn't ignore it anymore. When she emerged from the shower, I confronted her again, holding up her phone. "Explain this," I demanded, my voice trembling with anger and hurt. At first, she denied it, claiming it must have been a misunderstanding. Then she turned the tables on me, accusing me of being paranoid and invasive. "Why are you snooping through my phone?" she snapped, crossing her arms defensively. For the next month and a half, she refused to let me near her, kicking me out of our bedroom and insisting I needed space to reflect on my behavior. During those weeks apart, I spiraled into darkness. Stress consumed me and I lost weight rapidly, around 35 pounds in a single month. Sleep eluded me and food tasted like ash in my mouth. Everything reminded me of her, of us, of the life we once shared. Desperate for answers, I sought counseling, following the pastor's recommendation. However, instead of addressing the issue openly, she refused to engage meaningfully, quoting Bible verses rather than confronting the truth. Her holier-than-thou attitude only fueled my suspicion further. Finally, one day I stumbled upon her diary. Unlike her phone, which she guarded fiercely, the diary lay unprotected on her nightstand. Hesitant yet driven by desperation, I opened it. What I read shattered whatever remained of my trust. Page after page detailed her affair with Pastor John, their secret meetings, stolen moments, and even his wife's knowledge of their relationship. Reading those words felt like being punched in the gut repeatedly. How could someone I loved betray me so deeply? Armed with newfound evidence, I approached her calmly. "You were right to hide your diary from me," I admitted. "I just read it." Her reaction was instantaneous. Shock gave way to panic, then apology. "I never meant for it to go this far," she stammered. "I didn't want to hurt you." Those words fell flat against the weight of her actions. I insisted she call Pastor John immediately, demanding he meet me the following morning. We met at a fast food restaurant. With my phone recording the conversation discreetly, I listened as he confessed to the inappropriate relationship. Hypocrisy oozed from every word he spoke. Here was a man who regularly preached against infidelity, warning others about its dangers while indulging in the very sin he condemned. His admission provided closure, but it also left me seething with anger. Trust broken cannot easily be mended. Despite everything, I attempted reconciliation. I wanted to believe we could salvage our marriage, but deep down I knew it was futile. Months later, unable to endure the tension, I moved out. Not because I wanted to abandon her, but to protect my career. In law enforcement, accusations of domestic violence could cost me everything. Thankfully, people at church eventually learned the truth. Pastor John resigned from the congregation he had led for 25 years, trading his pulpit for a job flipping burgers in his mid-50s. Justice, though bittersweet, brought a semblance of peace. Now let me tell you another story, one that unfolded differently but carried echoes of betrayal just as profound. I met Jess during university. She sat across from me in a business management class, bright-eyed and eager. When we were assigned a group project together, we clicked instantly. By the end of the semester, I asked her out and she said yes. Our relationship blossomed effortlessly. For 4.5 years, we were inseparable. We communicated openly, rarely fought, and shared countless dreams for the future. I envisioned marrying her someday, building a life filled with laughter and love. So much so that I began saving money to buy her an engagement ring. But slowly cracks appeared. Around the last 6 months of our relationship, Jess grew distant. Excuses piled up whenever I suggested spending time together. At first, I attributed it to stress from our new full-time jobs post-graduation. Then came the intimacy issues. A woman who once matched my high libido now turned down advances without explanation. When I pressed her, she claimed discomfort with her body, asking for patience. Still, something didn't feel right. One fateful night, we stayed overnight at her apartment. After attempting to initiate intimacy yet again, I voiced my frustrations. Instead of responding constructively, she shut down completely. Later, unable to shake the unease gnawing at me, I snooped through her phone. What I discovered ripped apart my world. Messages, photos, and videos revealed she'd been secretly hooking up with her ex-boyfriend, the same guy she swore she'd moved on from long ago. Watching those videos, seeing her act and speak in ways I'd never witnessed, reduced me to nothing more than bitterness and disgust. That night, I packed my belongings quietly, careful not to wake her, and slipped out of her apartment. Back at my place, emotions overwhelmed me. Betrayal cut deeper than I ever imagined possible. Hours later, I messaged Julia, a childhood friend I hadn't spoken to much since reconnecting briefly during a visit home. She offered comfort, listening patiently as I poured out my pain. Over drinks, movies, and games, we rekindled our bond. Eventually, one thing led to another, culminating in a night neither of us regretted. Julia encouraged me to seek revenge, not out of malice but justice. Using recordings from our encounter, I crafted an audio file devoid of visuals, ensuring anonymity. When I finally confronted Jess, I sent her screenshots of her infidelity alongside the audio clip. My parting words echoed loudly, "Treat me like a game, and I'll show you how it's played." In the days that followed, chaos erupted. Mutual friends bombarded me with questions, but presenting undeniable proof silenced most critics. Eventually, Jess's parents reached out, apologizing profusely for their daughter's actions. Meanwhile, I focused on rebuilding myself. I immersed myself in fitness, cultivated meaningful friendships, and nurtured a budding romance with Julia. Today, nearly a year later, I am happier than ever. Recently promoted at work, engaged to Julia, and proud of the man I've become, I can confidently say I dodged a bullet. For Jess, however, life unraveled. Pregnant with her ex's child, abandoned without support, she chose abortion. Since then, alcoholism and crippling insecurity have plagued her relationships. While I harbor no ill will toward her, I remain grateful for the lessons learned. Trust must be earned, respect mutual, and happiness pursued relentlessly. To anyone navigating similar pain, remember this: never settle for less than you deserve. Surround yourself with positivity, embrace growth, and above all, prioritize self-worth. Life may throw curveballs, but resilience triumphs over adversity.